Hello everybody, we're here today talking about the new Lori Holt yarn that we got in. She calls it chunky thread. She uses it like a thread and she also uses it like a yarn. She crochets, she doesn't really knit. I'd love to see some knitting done with this, but so far I've only crocheted with it and needle punched. And I tell you what, when I needle punched with it, I was very surprised. Have either of you needle punched? We've got a great video on our playlist on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and look at the playlist, I don't know what it's under. It might be under punch needle, which would be so convenient, wouldn't it?
Yes. I have watched it.
Have you? Okay. So it's a good basic everything you need to know about the punch needle and how it works and how to load it and all. So a couple things here. This is the actual punch needle. And for this technique, we're going to need the large nib. The large nib comes with a spring all its own. You can see that the regular spring tapers in, but the large spring is not tapered in. It's the same circumference all the way around. So it's important when you change, and this is the ultimate pack. This is, everything comes in this. You get 3 size nibs. There's a nib inside here, and it does have the large nib, and then it has the spring. Just know that you've got to replace the spring. So, and this little gizmo is to help me tighten my hoop. Help me tighten my hoop, because what's really important when you're needle punching is that your tension on your fabric, which this is called, I just had it in my head and I can't remember
Weaver's cloth.
Weaver's cloth, thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
This is called Weaver's cloth. It has a very tight weave, but just enough open that it'll allow the punch to go in and out. But then as the punch goes in and makes a loop, when you pull it out, the weave will go back into itself and catch the loop. So feel the difference. That's the front, but we're doing it from the back. See that?
Oh, okay.
And it looks just a little different. This is more of a just a flat pattern, and this is where the puffiness. By changing the length of the loop gives you different dimensions. So you could, like if you were doing this, you could do the center real high, the loop real high, and then the petals real low, or vice versa, you know. But I chose to just keep them the same.
But when you're done, this
will be the front.
Okay,
this will be the front. So here's my hook, my punch needle, and see how it's got that needle, and all I have to do to change it is just pull it out. Then I twist it into place, and then it's got this little like nub wire thing here, and so when it goes in, you can rest it there so that the needle's not sticking out, because the needle will get dull. If I walked around with my needle sticking out in my tin box, it would bump up against it and get real dull. So then I told you that you could get different heights. So see on the needle how it has a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. See that? So every time I get higher on the numbers, it makes the needle longer. So here it is at 4. You can see it at 4. Now I'm going to push it all the way down. See how much longer it is? So here's a 4, here's the longest it'll go, to a 12.
When you follow a pattern, does it usually tell you where to put that? Okay.
Some do, some don't. So you just find one that is your favorite, and you'll go with that. So I've never punched with the large before until I got this yarn, and it's quite fun, and it goes really fast. Here's how you thread it. Now that's going to be the fun part, threading it. So you're going to thread up through the needle. It has a hole in it. It's hollow. So you're going to put your needle threader. You don't want to lose this needle threader. You're going to put your needle threader in. Let me get this color. I'm going to do this color next. Put your yarn through the needle threader. And it's got a little twist on the end so it'll hold your thread so it won't disappear in there. And then you pull it out, then you take your needle threader, and there's a hole. Can you see there's a hole in the end of the needle? Okay. There is a kind of a sliver here and then a round part here. You're going to go in the front of your needle. The round part is the front of the needle. With your needle threader, you're going to thread that needle through that hole from the back to the front. Okay? So this little bevel is the back and the rounded part is the front, and that's important. So I'm going to leave a tail, I'm frugal, so I'm going to leave about an inch tail there. Now, to get my pattern on, this is just a pattern I made up, so I just drew it on with this pen. Sometimes you'll get a book. Let me go over here and get a book. And it'll have patterns in it. Patterns are probably to the back, Dawn. Yeah, here we go. So you can see when you put the fabric down that you can see right through it. I just take my pen and I just trace those designs, okay? And you want to leave enough room for it to go in the hoop. You don't want to be frugal. This fabric is not terribly expensive, and it's one of those things that you really can't skimp on because you definitely want enough to go in your hoop, okay? And your design has to be inside the hoop, inside these little round things. These round things are for legs. And a lot of people will double their hoop. We'll put legs on and put a bigger hoop down here. It comes in packages like that. See the package up there, the lap stand? Yeah. Okay, or the one up there, the lap stand. That's what it will have, these legs that come down, and then you're not needle punching into your surface. And then my scissors that I use are going to be these, I like these curved scissors. So that's what I'm going to use. So that's all the supplies I need. It's just whatever I'm punching with. This needle punch will do floss. It'll do thread. You know, you've got an extra small needle in there. So anything you can fit into the needle, it's going to punch, all right? So this is the back of the needle punch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by outlining my design. And what I want to do is I want the thread to follow me. So the front of the needle is not facing me. The beveled part is facing me. The back part is facing me. Can you see it, Peter? Mm-hmm. And I'm just punching, and I'm making sure that every time I punch, that my needle face, this little place where it stops, goes down and touches the fabric, because when I bring it back up, that's what's going to leave my loop the same desired length every single time. Now I put this on a 4. I don't know what I had it on when I was having fun with it. I was just practicing with it earlier. And I'm just going to go by outlining each section. And how far am I moving along? Well, about the width of my needle. You'll get a rhythm. I wish I brought my stand. And see how I'm just turning? I'm turning the project. I could turn my needle, but I'm just turning my project. It's easier for me. But what you want to always do is let the thread follow you. Now, what happens is if this thread gets caught up on anything, it won't stay in the fabric because of the tension. The tension will pull it out. And I mean, it doesn't take much tension for it to pull out. So you've got to be careful that you keep your working thread really loose. See what I'm doing? See how it's looking funny? It'll look real funny until I get it filled in. So I'm leaving this really loose. Now, I would not suggest that you sit and do this for hours and hours. I would say do it for maybe 15 minutes, then get up and give your hand a break. Because I'm not saying that punch needle caused it, but one year I did 12 punch needle projects in a year. And after that, I had to have surgery. So,
Carpal tunnel?
no, actually, it was tendonitis right here. They had to go in and strip the tendon in right there. So, all I can think about that I had done different was I did all that needle punch that year. And I mean, I booked it. I was punching every day. And it was aggressive. So I would suggest that you take about 15 minutes, and then even if you have to set an alarm, and then take a break. So when after I outline the whole shape, I'm just going to start going inward. I'm going to have to lock my wheels because you can hear I hit my table just then. If I'd had my stand with me. I ran out of the house this morning just helter-skelter because tonight's kind of a fun night. The staff are going to have a party. We're going to have a pizza party.
Oh, yum.
And it's going to be so much fun.
Maybe I could get hired on today and stay for the party.
Yeah, hang out
So,
with us.
okay, here we go. So now I'm going to show you. All right? So to end off, when I have to end off, I'm just going to hold my finger right there and pull my thread up. Clip my threads.
No knots or anything?
No knots.
Oh,
Wow.
Nothing. That's all there is to it. Now, I'm thinking to myself, now how am I going to finish this out? What I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to draw a circle and fill this little area in, and it'll be a circle, and I'll make a little pillow or a pincushion or something out of it. But Lori Holt is going to come out with needle punch patterns in the fall. So look for those. It'll be lots of fun. And this is just, I think it looks like little French knots. Do you?
yeah.
I think it's so cool. I just love the texture. And it's really different than when you do it with floss. Let me go get a project here I did with
It's funny how it
floss.
feels different on this
I
side
know.
than this side. It's the same thread, isn't it?
And feel how different it looks than floss.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Want to feel?
Here.
yeah.
Go ahead, it's okay.
Okay.
I've done the.
She's a
done one
puncher.
with-
She's a puncher.
I'm a new puncher,
She's a new puncher.
but I'm loving
I think
it.
you forgot you weren't here when we talked about the spring. There is a different spring for the large nib.
And yeah, because it's just a circle, right? And then the
Right,
medium
it's
comes to like a point.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So you need to change your spring.
What
Do you
size
wanna-
are you using?
I'm using the large. That's what size I
okay.
have to use for this yarn.
Okay.
Do you want me to show you how to take it apart, or do you know how to take it apart?
I know how to take it apart. I just wasn't sure. I got it in the medium, but
It would stick.
it was okay. But I think my material that I'm using right now, it's not the right kind.
Yeah.
Because with the larger needle, I'm having a lot of, when I punch, it splits and breaks my material.
Okay, so that means that the weave is not strong enough.
And I don't know
To
what
collapse
it is
back on
that
itself.
I have in there.
Yeah, this is weaver's cloth.
And I have some from here, but I know that it's not. I've bought monk's cloth. I've bought some from you, and I grabbed one,
not knowing.
and yeah.
You can do it on denim, sweatshirts if you're careful. I mean, there are different, you don't have to always use the monk's cloth, but I do a test before you actually drew a big design
Like
on
me.
and got all inspired, you know.
Because I've ruined 3 or 4 of my. My husband built me a gripper frame. And it's like 15 by 25. And so I have that whole thing full. Of different coaster patterns and I've ruined. I don't know. Just because trying different things and like they said that cloth is not the right kind for a bigger needle.
You can always put this cloth underneath.
Okay.
Okay. You can like.
Well, I'll tell you that right there is worth the price of admission,
That's
Dawn.
right. That's right. You can always put this underneath for your strength.
Okay.
Okay. So if you don't want this to be your background, of course well, if you're doing it on a garment, you are going to have background, right? So I don't think I would fuse it. I think that'd be really hard to punch, but I might spray adhesive it. But you want to get something that's not going to be sticky on your needle. I'd let it dry a couple days before I actually went to punch it.
Okay.
Okay? Or pin it or something. But once you get it in your hoop, it's going to be tight. I'd use a bigger hoop than what you think you would need. And when you put it in your hoop, then both layers will be tight together. Okay. So you shouldn't have any problem once you've got it in the hoop.
Okay.
So you could just maybe baste it on with some thread and then get it in your hoop and do it that way.
Okay. So if like you're gonna make a pillow and you've got a covering, so you could put this
behind,
and then it just stays there. You don't take it off, right?
I would cut the excess off.
Oh, okay.
Like when let's say she's doing the front of a shirt, okay? And she's got a big massive piece of this underneath it, and the design only takes up this much room. I'd go in and cut out up to the design. So like when I make this a circle, I'm going to cut about 1/4 of an inch away because I'm going to probably sew something to it. But if I was just going to turn it under and applique it to something, none of this is going to show when I'm done on this. So, all right. That's about all the information I have, unless you have more questions.
Thank you.
You have more questions?
Thank you.
I wish you would have brought it in.
I
So I
know.
couldn't. Can you bring it tonight?
If I can't, what days are you here?
I'm here Mondays and Fridays.
Mondays and Fridays. If I can't get back over here today, I'll try to come back Monday.
Okay.
Are you here all day Monday?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna look at this.
Yeah, isn't it fun?
So-
It's a fun technique.
You have a spring already in here. Is that what
I
you're
do.
saying?
You want to see it?
Yeah, I want to see that.
Okay.
Can I see this material?
Oh yes.
You know what? I've got to unthread my...
Oh well, then don't do
No,
all that.
I'll do
Oh.
it because I'm going to have to rethread for the next class.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah. So there's my spring. So
Okay.
So this comes in these 3 parts. 4 parts. 4 parts, okay?
Is that-
So the first
Not
thing I
as
would
tight.
do is I'd put this spring, well actually I'd put this
That's good
spring
cloth.
on my needle,
We have it on the bowl.
okay?
And
And
Oh, you
then,
bought some.
well, I'd put this on
just
first.
didn't use it.
I put that on first and give it a twist.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
So
is
it's
just
on real
punching
good.
it in the right
Then
claw.
I put my
Right.
spring on my needle, and then I put this on,
Oh, okay.
and then I'd put it to whatever height I want it to be. Okay, so that's as easy as it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And it comes, now I do think we have other needles, we have like extra small but this comes with a small, medium, and a large. I don't know if there's a little pattern in there or not, but we do have some beginning patterns. I don't know.
I think
This is that little blue tool I was showing you to help you keep your fabric tight. And then over here, now, say for instance, these patterns are really intricate. Okay, they're small and little and intricate. So they're for floss. They're not for this big yarn, okay? You're gonna need bigger patterns. Like anything that is wool applique can be used as a pattern. Beautiful, beautiful patterns. But like this, see, that's just a bigger, simpler, see that? How it's not as detailed.
And that's
what I'm trying to
floss.
say. This is yarn.
Oh, that's yarn.
This is
Okay.
yarn.
Okay.
This is actually a kit. Now, this is the sampler pack that comes with the fabric and with the design already printed on. It's these 4 designs that really help you understand a point, a curve, background. Look at this, it's got a variegated background where you maybe would use 2 different colors. You'd do an outline stitch, and then you'd change colors and do the next outline with something else, and then you'd change color and do another outline, and then it kind of weaves around. And you do the background in sections to get that weavy look. You would do it in, like, here's a section, maybe here's a section, and that's how you can get that movement in your background. Okay, so for instance, look at this, how I've got the movement in the background. Now on this one I used a variegated floss. I used Valdani
When you use
floss.
floss, how many strands do you use? You know, in the floss you can.
6 or 3.
Okay.
If you go to 6, you want to go to your larger needle. If you use 3, typically I do 3, and I use my medium needle. Okay, all these samples have been done in 3 except for one, and I don't know where the one that I did 6 in. Was it this one? I think it was. I did 6 in the pumpkins and 3 on the background. Yeah, I'm sure it's that one. You can't really hardly tell. So it eats up the floss. Woohoo!
Remember
It takes
her
a
showed
lot.
you my big one? That's what I started using. was
Yeah,
floss.
yeah.
And she said, "Whoo, you've got an expensive project."
Yeah,
going."
yeah.
Yeah. Here's the one that I did.
Ooh, that.
And I used all floss 6
Oh, that's
strands.
beautiful.
Now, that was my second one. This was.
Did you do it on weaver's cloth?
This came with its own.
Oh,
like
good.
One of these.
That's weaver's cloth then.
And this was the first one, which is the one that you can see my very first, all the different places that I missed. And then this area up here was compromised because I had to take it off the hoop and move it.
And then that's a perfect way to get a better
And-
design because
but
then
it was-
you put a V there to cover it up.
Just the first, from the first time to the second time. So it's
A
easy
big
to pick up
improvement.
and yeah.
What were you gonna do with this one? It's pretty.
I don't know. I bought a couple different things that I've thought about.
It'd be
putting
beautiful
on.
on an oval box if you could find an oval box that
Yeah.
shape or whatever. There's lots of different ways that we've done them. We've framed them, put them on buckets, put them on a cutting board. Here's one on a basket. Here's one I put on a notebook. I thought this was kind of cute.
Oh, that is.
So I just had this notebook laying around at home. I never hardly used it. I thought, oh, that'd be so fun because of it's kind of the same color as the little, and I just thought that'd be a cute. Now look, I've got this thread hanging up. Now these are the whiskers.
Oh.
But that thread is not supposed to be hanging up, so all I have to do is come over to my scissors here, and because this is my project, I am allowed to do this, and I can just snip that. And if you've got a thread that's kind of out of place, like let's say that thread, I don't like that thread sticking out, I can just go in and kind of help it go back into its place.
What did you use for the kitty's whiskers?
I just used floss and then I put a piece of glue. I mean, I just ran my hand through with glue, and so it makes them prickly.
So when you clip the stray threads, it's not going to come undone?
No,
Wow.
it's because of the tension on the fabric. That's why it's so important to use the right fabric so that you're not having that pull out, you know, because the fabric has to have some tension to it. The weave of the fabric.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Huh.
So, lots of fun. Punching is, I enjoy punching. I've been scared of it because of my surgery, but I think if I limit myself, I'll be much better off. So, okay? We encourage you to try it if you'd like.
Thank you, Dawn.
You're welcome.
Now, do these coupons need
They're
to be...
good for today.
Does it have to be...
Nope, doesn't have
Okay.
to do that. Anything regular price, $25, you get a $5 off.
Okay, all right.
Alrighty?
All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
You're
Dawn.
welcome. Thanks. Hey, thank you very much for stopping by. See you later.